Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon, I should say. This is the ADR Voices panel. We have 4 ADR voice actors, ready, willing, and able to answer all your questions and let you know anything, answer anything that your little heart desires about what you might like to know about ADR. Everybody know what ADR is?
Tell us.
Automated dialogue replacement. It's a fancy term for dubbing, which is the placement of English into foreign films and cartoons.
I like that he dumbed it down.
Or if you're dubbing in Italy, it's placing Italian into American. We're concerned with most anime is ADR or dubbed. So there you are.
Tell me who you are, Preston.
I'm Robert Axelrod, the voice of Lord Zed. I'm in this Lensman that's screening.
I also recognize your voice as Finster.
Finster, yes. I am Finster in Lord Zed in Power Rangers as well. I started out playing Finster. And I've done a host of other things, a virtual host.
You can keep this.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I'm Leah Clark. I work for Funimation. I do voice acting, writing, and I have directed for them. Some of my roles recently are Saki in Eden of the East, Blair Soul Eater, Baby Token Frog, and many others. I work full-time as a writer there, and some of the things I've written are Tsubasacon, Baka and Test recently, and a lot of great stuff. Check it out, your program.
Yeah, I haven't seen a program. Does anybody have a program? Handy?
No.
I haven't seen the program yet.
In the room.
The big one?
No, the big one with like the pictures and.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes these balloons make sense.
Yeah.
Like, we're either at a 7-year-old's birthday party. Okay.
No, it's Grace's birthday party. It's Grace's
That's
birthday.
true.
And this month, everyone, you've always invited
29th of October, be there.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm Rob McCollum. I'm an actor from Dallas and a TV show, used to be a TV show host, long time ago. Once upon a time. And I've been doing voiceover with Funimation for years and years, all the way back to Dragon Ball GT.
Yes. Oh my god.
Teen Go 10.
Yes.
It was flirting with the girl and launched the ship and caused all the problems. That was all my fault.
That's how all the
whole
great
thing.
stories end.
All GT. But Baki the Grappler, early role, and now no one watched that show. Nobody watched that show.
Good one. Now you have your
Good show. Witchblade.
To watch now.
Oh yeah.
Any Witchblade fans? No? Okay.
I like it.
Witchblade, there's so many, I don't...
Sengoku Basara.
The new one, it's Sengoku Basara. And Natalia is coming out, Fairy Tail is coming out. I mentioned those in the other, but I'm trying to think of some other great hits. Several appearances in One Piece, if there are One Piece fans here. Chakra and Calgara and Don Quixote, Don Flamingo, the amazing coach. This is my favorite anime character that I've gotten to do. It's the only plastic figure of a character I've done that I actually own, because it's a cool coat. Peach Girl, for fans of the Dawson's Creek of anime.
I
I was Toji. So much angst, so much teen angst. Romeo X Juliet. Good stuff. Anyway, I've been doing this for about 10 some years, as well as co-producing and acting and stuff. So I'll answer questions about anything, mostly about these two people, because I know them and can tell you things. All right.
Oh, hi, my name is Chris Kaysen. We're pleased to announce, no, I'm just kidding, I'm not going to read it. Yeah, good
We
times.
should have read each other. We should have introduced each other just reading this.
I'm Leah Clark, returning for a 3rd year. Well, I guess I'll be
I
returning
put
for my
peed on
3rd
this
year.
con officially, I guess.
You what?
Peed on it.
Ew. We're drinking. So, okay, right, my name is Chris Kaysen. I've directed and written and acted for Funimation, and I've done such roles as... first of all, how many of you were at the opening ceremonies?
Then we're going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, I'm going to repeat myself. Stuff like Mr. Popo and Shinhan in Dragon Ball Z, and Kai and Holy Roman Empire, and Natalia, and Gluttony for the Little Alchemist, and Tawaru, and Sergeant Frog, and Jack the Ripper, and Critters, and Soul Eater, and all kinds of stuff. and scene. And the rest is right here. Let's kick it off with some questions about birthday parties, balloons. If you want to throw a chair, that's understandable. Don't be.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Grab a seat. Cop a squat.
There it is. There's the squat. Yeah. So that's what we have done in a nutshell. Anybody have any questions about voice acting or anything like that at all? Okay, good. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. I'll interview you guys next. All right, so is that working now? It's about to be. Wait for it.
Chance is up. Nope. Flip it on. Hey. No. No.
Waiting for it. Hey, there it is. I'm Ron McCollum. I'll be your interviewer for this panel this evening. I can, but so we'll start off with the lovely and talented Leah Clark in the question, how did you begin in this ADR business? And then I'm going to ask the same question to Robert, because I think his answer was probably different. But we'll start with Leah, because she's right there.
I'm right here.
Right there.
Right there?
Right there.
Well, how I got started was I was doing a play where I was playing a bunch of different characters. It was one of those shows where you are just the actor and you just transform, and part of that is changing your voice, changing your movement, etc. So I got really good at making different sounds voice-wise. And the director of the show was working at Funimation and kept skipping out from rehearsals to go up there, and so I finally asked, hey, what is that? And he said, well, I do voices for cartoons. And I said, I want to do that. And he took me to his audition with him, and I got in, and that was about 6 years ago. So that was Jakey Cave, everyone. Woo! Woo! I actually auditioned for Spiral, and then I got cast in Case Closed as Girl B. Yeah. And I did plenty of other versions of Girl B, A, and C for about a year until Negama came around, and there was like 27 lead girls, and they had no choice but to find a place for me. So thank you, Mr. Miyazaki, for writing such porn. I love it.
I just want you to know, Leah, that when we were casting for Negama, Colleen Klingbeard and I were casting for it, there were a ton of parts, but in your particular case, yours was right. We both agreed right away. Like there was no discussion.
Aww.
So,
Aww.
That's so nice.
building bridges.
So the three of us all come out of Funimation land, which is in North Texas, and so that it's kind of all the acting pool that comes from there comes from that area. But Robert Axelrod comes from a very different milieu. So talk about how you started in this crazy world, sir.
My milieu is Los Angeles. I got into voiceovers in 1980, except for a brief flurry in 1971 in New York City, where I had the opportunity to get into anime and didn't take it for some strange reason. That's a long story, we'll save for another time. But in 1980, I was working on an on-camera show, a children's show called Rumpel's Last Stand with Hans Conried, who was a famous voiceover actor, amongst other things. He was also he did Rocky and Bullwinkle. He did some voices on Rocky and Bullwinkle. He goes back that far. But he was a well-known actor, did a lot of 1940s movies and 50s, and he played Uncle Tanoose on the Danny Thomas show. This is all before your time. Anyway, we were doing this show, and he said, why don't you do voiceovers? I said, yeah, that's great, I'd love to. I actually doubted him. And he said, you know, they're doing this this cartoon here at the studio called Banner the Squirrel. Why don't you go audition for it? So I said, yeah, I guess I will. He pointed me in the right direction, so I went to see the director, because I was right there. I was in the right place at the right time. And the director said, sure, you can come audition. And I auditioned for Banner the Squirrel, and did a few voices, and got the job as Banner the Squirrel. And it was ADR. It was a Japanese cartoon that they were dubbing in English. So she asked me, have you ever dubbed English into foreign product? And I said, oh yeah, sure. lying my teeth. But I knew I could do it, so something told me I could do it. Anyway, so I cut my teeth on doing that. We worked on very primitive equipment, so we had to be perfect in our lip sync for long chunks of time on the cartoon. We couldn't go line by line like we usually do, because we were working like on reel-to-reel tape recorders, home tape recorders. That's how old the equipment was. And it wasn't like you go in now and the engineer is behind a mixing board that's like a music mixing board you see with all of these buttons and those. It was just on, off, and pause. So we rehearsed during the day, in the morning, and then we tape in the afternoon.
How many people at a time were going in and doing it then? Did you have several cast members at once?
We had 4 people working at one time.
So if one person blew one line, you had to do the whole takeover.
We had to go back.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to do like, there had to be a 20-second pause between lines in order for us to take a rest. So
they would look through the script and find you'd have to do the whole bit until there was a 20-second timeout, and then they'd give you a break?
20-second timeout,
Wow.
yeah. So that's how I got into it. And then, coincidentally, the floodgates started opening for ADR work in LA, and both with feature films and cartoons, and I just got into it and rode the wave up through the years.
And your first role was a squirrel?
Yes.
That's so cute.
Banner of the Squirrel.
Oh. Wait, how's the voice? I want to know if
He
you
sounded like this. He was just a high version of me.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I want a squirrel something.
And who did you say? You mentioned Rakim Bullwinkle. What was the? Which guy was that?
He did Hans Conried. He did the Fractured Flickers.
Oh yeah.
Fractured Flickers. And one of the cast members in Band of the Squirrel was a musician named Buzzy Winhart, who some of you might know. He wrote "You Got to Have Friends."
Yeah.
And he wrote a theme song for the cartoon. Banner, banner, if the world were an oyster, you're a pearl. Banner, da 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 da, banner.
Robert.
Da 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 da, you're a squirrel.
You're so adorable. You can sing that to me every day and drink tea with me.
You got it. All right. And that's how I got in. That's the long story.
By the way, I'm fascinated by Rakim Bullwinkle. That was Boris Natasha, right? That was on Rakim Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Who here is familiar with Rakim Bullwinkle? Who here has been to the Haunted Mansion?
Yeah.
Did you know that the ghost host is Boris?
Oh my
Just wanted
God.
to, yeah, I thought it was really cool. Anyway, that was just for me. Who has a question about what we're talking about? Anyone at all? It's the
I got a question. What do you guys think about The Simpsons? You know how they're having cancellation and litigation. What do you guys think about that?
They're having what?
They're having program problems over the salary of the voice actors. And,
Oh.
I mean, because I'm thinking, I don't know about your industry, but I'm thinking it's changing now. You know, like the music industry is changing. And
Typically,
all the
Robert.
changing. So, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yes. Every actor on the show is making $8 million a year. And they want to reduce that amount. But I think they really had to, but it's maybe one of the longest running TV shows, not even animated like ever. And I think they've had to go up for contract renegotiations a lot. I think they've really had to fight for getting good money because first of all, it's animation already, so they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
So the fact they finally got to this thing and they're saying, not really. I think that, I don't know what they're gonna do, but what they should do is say, peace, and they should stop The Simpsons. That's what I think they should do. One, because The Simpsons, like, you want to get out while the scripts and the shows are still good. And I think if you keep going, I think now would be a good time for them to either not have to get a reduction or to stop The Simpsons.
Wait, so after 20 years, now, okay, they're done. It's the longest one in history, but you want to get out while it's still funny.
Right. It is still funny.
I know, I'm just saying, is this really a fear of yours that it's going to go downhill at this point after this long?
Well,
like, man, it's just, I'm done. I got nothing left.
Look, I have no Conan O'Brien who wrote for them forever, but I feel like, yeah, I guess that's what you're talking. It's time.
Okay.
I think it's time, and I think they should get out. That's my answer. But we'll see what they do. I know, by the way,
8
that
million a year. What do you do with all that?
Let's make it very clear that the
How many books
ADR
did
world
you-
is very different in its pay scale than original animation for Vox Broadcasting. So we have not had those kind of contract negotiation problem.
In LA, we just started trying to negotiate for a pay raise in ADR. We haven't had a pay raise in for union contract in several years, like something like 10 years, or since the contract was. No, we've had one pay raise since the contract started, but it's time.
Yeah, I mean, we can relate to The Simpsons because, they each get paid $8 million, a year, and we're making that $800 a year, guys. Up high! Woo! Just kidding. Anyone else with a question about stuffing things or stuffing things? Yes, you had your hand up before.
I wanted to know.
Yes.
Is it you were talking about how they were using things like video recorders before to record, and how the evolution, how far it's gotten now. Do you find it like easy, or are you just relaxed because it's not what it used to be? Do you have a problem with that?
Do you miss the old days?
Do I miss the old days?
Yeah, pretty much.
No. Working on the primitive equipment was, well, it had its advantages. It was nice to work with all 4 people in the studio at once. We had a real camaraderie going and a real chemistry. And we had the continuity of doing it from beginning to end. But nowadays, the companies can't afford to pay to have 4 actors, 5 actors in the studio all day. They'd have to pay us like, it would work out to $500-600 a day. They'd have to pay us $700. I can do the math. It's $75 an hour, something like that, 2-hour minimum. And figure 8-hour a day, 10-hour day, that's $750. The producers won't do that. Plus they bring each actor in to do their own lines, bam, 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 and sometimes you don't even know what's going on in the episode.
It's always fun at the end to go back and watch a show that you recorded a long time ago and really, I think, oh, that's what that was all about. Usually a good directors will tell you and let you know where it fits in, but sometimes you're just time crunched, and sometimes you just jump in to do like 2 lines. Like, hey, you're in the booth next door, look, hey, we need you. You need to be man number 6. What's happening? Just yell duck. That's all you gotta do. Just come in. And then go, oh, that's what I was ducking for. It's a meteor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing about Funimation in particular is that there are A, B, C, D, E, F, at least 5 or 6 studios running at one time, all the time. So if you come in to record a block of time, you might end up doing 5 or 6, or voicing 5 or 6 properties in one day for 5 or 6, different shows. So when you step back and go, wait, what did I do? That way when people ask you, oh, were you in so-and-so? And I have to look it up if I was or not. They're like, oh, wow, mister, he has to look it up. Like, I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, so I kind of forgot. But at Funimation, it's like that. You'll be dragged into one studio then another, and it'll be like, okay, we want you to die. Okay, we want you to scream. We want you to say, and you just lose your mind.
Yeah, even when people say, oh, you've been a lead, you're Todd Haberkorn, you do big roles. Yeah, but he also does Soldier C on a random property just because he's in the building and we need somebody to go, look out, or duck, or yes sir. And so you'll see, Vic Mignogna as schoolboy number 4. Just because that's the nature of the world, is that they book you for those 2 hours, and by God, you're going to work those 2 hours. And if it is Walla, to be back going, yes, to be in the background, they're going to use you for that amount of time.
Walla, by the way, means Walla. Oh, hey. Walla. Who here has heard the term Walla before? Birthday girl. Walla is another word for, it's short for with all actors, and it means background stuff. So if you come in to do Walla, usually it would be 3 or 4 people at one time in a big room doing stuff like crowd noises, or it's background stuff. And then usually that's how a lot of actors begin, is doing Walla, and they start doing bits, and then they, grow and grow. But we still do Walla and bits no matter what other kind of parts we have. So, anybody else with a question about? Oh, look at those hands. You were first.
I know that a lot of times voice actors end up doing other responsibilities, but what about somebody who wants to get in just for the writing or the directing? Are they in competition with the voice actors, or how many people come in just starting that and not being a voice actor first?
How many people come in just to direct? Just to direct.
Or writing or whatever.
Just to write.
As far as there being competition, that's hard because we do prefer, well, they do prefer that you've had experience voice acting or doing something else, just because it helps you with that. If you voice acted for a long time, you kind of know how fast to, write the lines, or what needs to be time coded, what reactions need to be put in the script for other, you're just so used to seeing it from an actor's perspective or a director's perspective, so it makes it easier for you to transfer to a writer, as opposed to somebody coming in off the streets who's never done ADR before, who's only ever written scripts from scratch, to come in to do our world is hard. So in that way, yeah, you do kind of have competition. It's not unheard of though, because I know that we do have writers that haven't really voice acted that much or directed that much. And yeah, directors as well.
Directors a lot of times will come out of engineering. There'll be an audio engineer that's working on it's a very technical side, fitting in, and it's a very technical world. This thing is, it's oddly straddles the artistic expression and the pure mechanics, because it is 4 beeps and then 7 seconds to fit in 7 flaps of dialogue, and so those engineers will come in and get good at cutting and splicing, and then eventually they'll make the move into directing. You came out of acting to direct. You came out of acting to direct. Tyler and Zach both came out of engineering. So it kind of comes both ways.
The producer Power Rangers came out of engineering.
Mm-hmm. So it's possible, but it's tough, just because it's hard to walk in and go, I'm a great director for anime, because there's nothing else out there like that. Mm-hmm. So it's almost nothing you can put on the resume that would say, this has bearing on this. It's like, okay, cold fusion. It doesn't matter how good you are at other kinds of fusion, if you can't do cold fusion, it really doesn't. That was a stretch, never mind.
Nice though.
Yes, she had a question for a while.
Fusion. Yes.
What are your guys' thoughts on fan subs and fandom? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? Kind of what are your
Fan subs and fandoms.
I don't know.
This is a good one. By the way, when someone says "good question," it always means I don't know. Ramon has an idea, as I think. Well, no,
What is the question?
Fan dubs and fan subs, when they go, when fans will take the original property and do it on their own, either dub it or subtitle. A lot of times,
I put it up on YouTube, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
The problem is that a lot of the people who put a lot of the original work into it don't get paid when that happens, and so in that way, it is some kind of steal. The original Japanese artist who spent 27 months of his life, or his or her life, drawing this and making this happen, and now they go, oh, I want to buy that, and it's $16 or $27, or I can watch this fan sub on YouTube, and none of those people get paid for the work that they did. So in that way, I have a problem. At the same time, we have been known to go, wow, this translation seems really wrong. Let's see what the fan sub said. And oftentimes, it's right. So yeah, I think it's not the creative outlet that I think is the problem. It's the putting it up for free on YouTube that might prevent people from going to purchase the original is tough.
Actually, yeah. Following up on that one, what about like parody fan dubs, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged on YouTube?
That I love.
Yeah.
I wish we could do them. We do some fan commentary. You know, there'll be director's commentary or voice actor commentary on some of the ones, and every time we go, can we please just go Mystery Science on this? But they're like, no, we can't make fun of the brand, we can't offend, and but it's like that would be so much fun to be able to twist off. I've often thought it would be fun to put up get a pseudonym and start doing like riff tracks of our own work.
Contracts, maybe.
Yeah. But I think that's a way to assure that you wouldn't get another contract.
That's why they call it in between jobs.
Yeah. It's like this was starring Blom as every character. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't walk 10 paces at any con without someone mentioning BBC Unabridged, Abridged rather, the pecking order and all that.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, I mean, Chris Rager, who plays Hercule or Mr. Satan, he can't go to a con without hearing, say mahogany. That's what he gets all the time. Mahogany. And, we all think it's so funny because, that's, as Rob said, that's the kind of stuff that we would like to do even more than we mess up and it's bloopers and those are funny, but to sit down and make a whole show just as a parody would be so much fun. So, yeah, I love them.
And I feel like that doesn't steal from the brand per se. That just kind of adds to the interest in it. People are going to be like, well, I saw the parody, I don't have to watch the original.
Yeah, because they're not even making references to the actual storyline. They make up their own storylines. So
that's a good point. If anything, it kind of promotes the brand.
Yeah. All the way in the back.
Okay, now this is on the bridge subject. Now, in your all's opinion, if you can make your own abridged series, what anime would you choose?
Ooh, I just like to do an abridged stuff. Do you do your own that you made fun of, Robert, where you went through and cut it down to like a version of the best? What would be the most fun?
Like Lord's Dead Abridged.
I wouldn't mind parodying Samurai Pizza Cats.
I'll pay for it. We'll make it happen.
Samurai Pizza Cats is one of the best things in all animation.
It's a great show, and Samurai Pizza Cats is a parody in and of itself, really. So the parody of parody is a real challenge.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have a go at that, because I wrote several episodes of that show. We didn't get to do the voices, they went to Canada, but I didn't get to write some. So yeah, that's a show I like.
Does it have to be a show that we have been in, or just any show?
Any anime.
Has anyone ever, I can think of one off the top of my head, has anyone ever, it's very obscure to me, anyone ever heard of an anime titled Save Me Lollipop?
Yes.
That one. I would like to do that show for the 4 of you that know what I'm talking about, and you will be rewarded if I ever get to do that.
Yeah, that would be fun to do. Or just do like the commentary of the person watching this, and every few minutes just go, what? What?
Oh my god.
Huh?
I think Oron Host Club would be kind of funny too. Apparently, actually, there'd be a lot of room to make certain types of jokes.
I did Baki the Grappler for 2 seasons, Baki Hama, and it was really popular in Japan. And it's basically every episode is just a fight tournament. It's a young guy who wants to be the best street grappler in the world so he can impress his dad, and he fights someone, and they're mean, and then they respect each other after. Like, for 27 episodes worth of the same. Like, I will kill you! Now we have friends. That would be fun to parody to me, just because. And, like, he wears these really uncomfortably short shorts.
Yeah, I think some of the jokes that you would make for the Oron parody would be the same as the Baki parody, where there's just a little bit too much grappling and wrestling.
There's a lot of grappling. There's a lot of grappling.
And glistening, and you get the idea. Not sparkling. Anybody else with a question?
No Twilight, please.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yes?
Yes, as far as DBZ is concerned, there's been, from Ocean Dub to Funimation. How does it feel when Kai is especially when it's a lot more different than the other two versions?
How does it feel to participate in the recording of Dragon Ball Kai? Or
Yeah.
Who's seen Dragon Ball Z? Who's seen Dragon Ball Kai? Most same people. Okay, good. Well, the quick answer is that for me to be a part of that was really cool because you work on Dragon Ball Z. Like how many? 6 years, 5 or 6 years of not doing it, and then you come back to do it again. So it's kind of like going back to school, except this school you like going to. And it was a lot of, it was a lot of fun. Now the show itself is different. It's condensed. There's half the amount of episodes. But the good news is that means that instead of being two guys on a mountaintop talking about what they're going to do to each other, they do it in like 3 episodes. So that's the reward to me. And also, I believe from sort of a behind-the-scenes point of view, I think the acting and writing and directing are all better simply because we've had longer to get it right and just to get better. So I'm happy to be a part of it. If I wasn't, I wouldn't get to try to recite the pecking order. You got a question?
Yeah, it was sort of a stupid one.
There's no such thing.
A stupid question until you ask it, yes.
I'm drinking balls. You can say whatever you want.
No, my question was going to be, how does it feel being the voice of the Japanese rendition of a black guy?
I'll be right back. I'm glad you asked that question. You know what? Here's a little secret. When I first started, by the way, I think there should be a whole other panel on parts that, it should be called Parts That I Didn't Get. Because when we first auditioned for Dragon Ball Z in I guess I started in '98, but we were given a bunch of different audition sides with their picture and a description and some lines, and we didn't know, we really had no point of reference. We just looked at the picture and did a voice for that picture. And I auditioned. I auditioned. Well, it was one of the ones. I also auditioned for Goku. In Krillin, we all auditioned for all different stuff. Yeah. But it was funny because, and in that audition, it was Tien and Popo that I got, which are two very different voices. But I remember before, I believe it was before I began the audition, they actually pulled me aside and said, "Okay, look, maybe you shouldn't make him sound like you want to." And I said, "How do you know how I want it to sound?" I said, "To me it looks like a dude in a turban and a vest with no shirt." A lot of them didn't wear shirts, to be fair, like Tien. I, of course, choose to wear shirts, but what I did was, and a lot of voice actors do this, where they see a character, and sometimes it'll be influenced by other voices that they've heard. It'll be an amalgamation of different voices. And when I saw Popo, actually what I thought was, you know the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark? Yeah. You know the character Sala? That's what I thought of. So that's me doing a awesome bad Sala. So like, Indy! That's what I was thinking of when I did it. So that's what I did. So that's the big secret reveal of that story.
So he's Egyptian, basically.
I choose to, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he's from. I know he's incredibly powerful. He's got to be. Anyone else with a question? Yeah.
I kind of have a few questions. One, kind of wondering if you'll say something like Tien. I kind of want to hear you say something like Tien.
Like Tien?
Yeah, just his voice.
Call it Chonsu or something.
Yeah,
okay.
Chonsu.
It'll just be me yelling.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It sounds like you. Yeah.
It's actually me, like, Chonsu! And scene. Yeah. Chonsu, thank you. Nice. Happy birthday. Chonsu, by the way, is the scariest anime character ever drawn. A talking clown. Get out of town. If Tatum were here, he couldn't take it. He's very afraid of clowns. Anyone else with a question about other? Yeah.
I keep seeing, like, I guess maybe it's just fan fiction, but I keep seeing more of Dragon Ball stuff. Like I saw like Dragon Ball AF or something. What is that? Is that real? Is there actual stuff going on still?
It's totally fake. Well, Dragon Ball AF?
Yeah. What is that?
Does anybody know what that is?
It's fan.
It's fan. It's fan. Okay, so yeah, it's not sanctioned by Funimation. I didn't record it, but it's fan goodness.
So is there no Dragon Ball anything ever again?
I think there's always hope that there would be more movies someday, but I don't think there's any confirmation that might happen.
We're still recording.
Although we're still recording. Yeah, Kai is still recording. It's funny because Kai is now on Nick. Nicktoons, and so my daughters who are 8 and 10 now see it, and
and think it's cool, where they've never had any interest in any anime I've ever done, and I'm not in that one, but they're like, do you know that guy? Do you know that guy? Do you know that guy? I'm like, yes, you know, I've done these too. Whatever, he's on Nickelodeon. Do you know that guy? It's like doing that or Barney would be the only two things that would have been cool to my children. Also made in doubt.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm handing it to you.
Oh.
I haven't said anything in a while, but.
But I don't know that, so.
Case
Thanks,
closed.
Rob. Does anyone else have a question? Yes.
More anime, do you actually watch it with the English on, or do you watch it with subtitles?
I watch it with English on because it's, you know,
That is
I speak English. So it's just a lot easier for me to watch English instead of reading the subtitles. And, you know, my friends are in them, so I like to hear what they've done.
Actually, yeah, on movies, I'll usually watch it in the Japanese, especially any of the like Miyazaki stuff, that kind of thing. But in the series, I usually get more caught up in analyzing the ADR work than I do in the actual story. So I'll watch it in the Samurai 7. I watched in the Japanese. That was I'm a big fan of that property. Most of the time, I'll listen to it. In the back, you had a question, sir.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I saw you were in
Tower of Draga, yes, sir.
It's like one of my favorites. So.
Oh, good. Who else was in Tower?
I directed it.
Leah Clark is the director of Tower of the Dragon, so she's the one that you probably should talk to.
It's kind of like her boss.
You can answer it too. What is our question?
He just wanted to say you like it.
Oh, great, thanks.
Case closed.
Yay!
That is actually, I think, the first time I met you.
No, it's not, actually. Wait, no. Strain. You're in Strain.
Before that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I thought Draga was before that.
No, Strain was before that, and it was a combination between me and Zach Bolton, and yeah, so he directed you, and I directed you. And then we had this other character in Tower of Draga that wasn't cast yet, and cast you after that. So that was the order. Yes.
Ergon and Rockworks are very similar characters.
Are they? You did. You were Draga.
I was a Draga.
You were Draga? I didn't even know that. This is Draga.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah. Tell all my big monster
What did
Draga
it
things.
say? You do it. Come on, do it.
I'm Draga. No, I'm not gonna further embarrass myself. No, wait. No, I'm too worth to do it. That pesky video game audition that we got there. Who else here has a question about?
Guy in the t-shirt there.
Hey, you with the hand.
The hand up.
Are you fans of ramen noodles?
Yes!
Yes.
All right, chicken or beef?
What is it?
Chicken or beef? We can go with ramen noodles.
Oh, beef.
I'm saying chicken, yeah.
I like the spicy chicken one. The
I don't guess I eat so much chicken at home.
They have a lime chili.
That is great. I love that.
That is my favorite.
Oh.
Yes.
It's amazing.
If you get the
It's
cup, it's,
better-
they have a lime chili with shrimp in it. If you get
I know.
the cup noodles. Yeah.
But it's better if you boil them instead of microwave.
Yes.
Yes.
Hardcore.
In the back, gray t-shirt. Yes, sir. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh!
Our thoughts on Dragon Ball Evolution.
We did not mention that.
Oh, that movie.
Nightmare. It's a nightmare. You know, frankly, they really, in my opinion, they haven't really been able to. It's kind of like a Stephen King. Like, okay, let me back up. Anime to movie doesn't always work that well. Like Stephen King books into movies. Like for every misery, you get a maximum overdrive. And so it is with. I mean, the worse even than Dragon Ball movie Evolution, if you can imagine it, of course, was the last. The Last Airbender. That was probably the worst thing ever, from what I understand. Who here saw the what was it? Speed Racer movie? What'd you think of that?
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind. Yeah, I'm partial. It was good. Could have been better.
Two didn't work.
For what it was done well.
Somebody just failed.
I think it's always been. What does fail sound like that?
I've got your important documents! Oh! That's awesome. Sorry. That was just for me.
But yeah, I was very disappointed. This is just a side note. I was very disappointed with the last Airbender movie, but Noah anyway, the kid, Noah Ringer, that played the Avatar is actually a really sweet kid, and I wanted that movie to be really good because I got to interview him in Dallas. He's from North Texas, and he's this great kid who they sent in tapes of martial arts kids. Never acted before in his life, did Taekwondo, sent in a tape, and got to do a movie with M. Night Shyamalan, and now he's in Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, that was a great movie. I like that.
He's getting to do scenes with Harrison Ford, and he took Taekwondo classes in North Texas. I don't get it, but it's lovely.
I mean, there's a secret to work on my blue belt. This is my road to the stars. You with your hand up.
Yeah, if someone is to go back to do another live-action Dragon Ball, how would you like to see it done? And how would it be different?
Well, I'd like to be Chen. I'm going to have to do some sit-ups, but I think I'm ready to shake my head. Here.
All of us, all characters played by the original ADR voice actors who did them.
And we don't need a group. Yeah.
Scotty Nails Piccolo, there you go.
Well, Sabbath would be in it about 8 times. Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Everyone.
Right, he did. I recorded everyone. Be careful. Anyone else with a question about how the sun? Yes.
If you guys could play any character in the anime, which one would you like to play?
Ooh, wow.
Who could play any character?
Ever.
Good
I'd like to play Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock. I did the bad guy, one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of switching sides a bit, going yin yang.
I would go with, I'm a big Helsing fan, so I would probably, I'm not right for the role, but, I mean, how cool would it be to be Alucard? I mean, that would be a great part. So, I'd like to play that one. And see.
I would like to play, I really wanted to play Alois in Black Butler. I didn't get to, but that would have been a badass role.
Whoa. I love that, huh? Can you do a British accent?
I tried to do a British boy and I didn't get it, damn it.
That was actually really good.
Thank you.
I think all of us would agree we'd give you that part.
Yay!
Oh, thank you so much.
Hop in our DeLorean and make it happen, guys.
Lucy Christian isn't wonderful.
Yeah, you know, since
I love Lucy Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to do Howl's Moving Castle and take Christian Bale's role.
Ah, there you go.
Would you berate the staff as well? Yeah. I would yell out.
With your microphone.
Craft service table.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
You guys know of Ren, right? Ren's the anime?
Yes,
Oh,
I do. I know Ren.
oh, I heard you just start smiling. Okay. Were you
Which has a
uncomfortable?
great commentary, by the way. I don't know, one of the episodes on the DVD has a commentary where all of us have to sit there in the sex scene that we voiced. And to voice it nowadays, you know, as it's different, you're by yourself, you're in the room, but then to sit there when everyone's looking at each other, making the moaning sounds, it's probably the best director's commentary I've ever, behind the scenes I've ever gotten to do.
Well, I guess
You had a question?
that answers my question. I was gonna ask if you guys were, if you were ever uncomfortable doing it.
It was more awkward for the director.
Yeah.
Because the director, J. Michael Tatum, knows Michael J. I just switch it. I put it with every time. No, he had to sit there and with, you know, we all know each other at Funimation, especially it's a very small group and everyone's directed each other and been in each other's shows and he had to sit there and go like, yeah, I'm gonna need another orgasm sound. I'm sorry. He just did a lot of apologizing, and we have tours that come through Funimation all the time, you know, and so we had a big sign like, "Do not open this door." Recording in progress. No tours. There were like 8 different signs.
The mic is rocking, I'm coming off.
I had like one scene in Rin, and it was just the scene where I'm, you know, being pleasured. And that's the entire scene. and I look out, and J. Michael Tatum is standing up, doing this. He's like, is that okay? He's like, no, that's fine. It's just okay, I think we should take a break first. That was my only written experience.
And it was also some of your best work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Robert, have you ever done a show like that where you have to be naughty?
Well, the first, this is not for YouTube or...
Yeah, no recording of this.
Actually,
that's best answer of the day, by the way.
Yeah.
He gets a balloon.
My question actually was for Leah. On the show Ren,
I only have one scene in, unfortunately.
well, I'm just saying, like, what really compelled you, I guess, to agree to that? Like, what was it? What about it made you like, hey, I should do this?
Well, I was getting paid for it, and I like that a lot. I will sell out, yes. No, I really like the opportunity. I've heard about Ren, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, are you in Ren?" No. So when I got the opportunity to be in it, I was definitely excited to be in something naughty and something that people were talking about, and everyone else was having fun, and I wasn't.
Well, wasn't it serious? Aside from just that scene, of course, like the entire story to me was different than what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
So it was actually fun watching that. And
they actually put in big disclaimers at the audition time. Like, this is an adult show. There's objectionable things. Granted, these girls are 300 years old or 500 years old, but they look like 15-year-old, 13-year-old, 12-year-old girls doing very adult things. You have to make sure. Do you agree to do this? Do you want to use your real name? Some people use fake names. And I just said, okay, I don't care. I can explain to my children why I did this. Nobody really cares. Nobody's watching what I do. And so I did it, and I think the same month that it released, so 10 months after we recorded it, I got the job as the host of Good Morning Texas.
Yeah.
Which is the local ABC affiliate's follow after Good Morning America. So clean, wholesome community events, Dallas, yeah. And I started to get very worried that I had done that under my actual name. No one ever cared. Are we getting the sign? Are we done? All right, last question goes to you, because you had your hand up, sir.
All right, do you guys, I don't know if this is already been asked, but do you guys ever just catch yourself watching what you've done voice acting in?
Like we trip and fall, like, oh, look, there's me.
No, but like, do you just like surf through channels one night? Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, I did that.
I DVR'd stuff, and then I'll sit back. I'll turn down the lights, crank up the volume, get my potato chips ready, and I'll forward it to my parts and go, that was me, and then delete it.
The coolest thing that ever happened to me, this wasn't an anime thing, but it was a live-action movie I acted in, was my girlfriend at the time and I walked into Jerry's Famous Deli, which is a big deli in LA. We walked in around midnight. There's a lot of show business people, and they were playing a big TV. And on the big TV was a movie that I starred in. So there I was up there, and I walk in. Whoa, yeah! Hey, look who's here. Wow, yeah. So this is very cool.
Winning.
Right place at the right time.
Thank you guys.
All right, thank you for being here. Robert has a panel tomorrow that is all him, so you can ask more questions, and that is going to be at, where is it? It is.
It's tomorrow?
I have one at 6:30, which is I'll be screening some footage. The best of Robert Axelrod of the main events room.
That's tomorrow.
Is that 6:30 today? And then I think there's another one tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? I'm looking, I'm searching.
Q&A with Robert Axelrod, 12:30?
Yep, 12:30 in main events.
12:30 in main events, Q&A with Robert Axelrod. So, tell everybody that that is an opportunity to hear some awesome stories. Tell your friends. Tell your people. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Happy birthday, Grace!
Thank you.